number one, money. So making money, it's sort of a tiered process. So if I go along and just collect these branches or these sticks, I collect the branches, which are these smaller ones standing up. If I find sticks laying on the ground, I can pick those up too. But you'll notice I'll get 2, sometimes 3 from picking those up. Whereas if I look around the ground and pick up just sticks, I only get 1 per stick that I pick up. So it's very easy to go around here. Okay, so we have 19 sticks. When you are getting started, I would just say, just grab sticks. They replenish every single season. The resources will rebuild every season. And so, yeah, just grab a bunch of sticks. And she doesn't have a show me your wares. So I want to find the vendor, which you can see with the little money bag icon. And this is beautiful. I don't know what they're doing. I don't want to know what they're doing. But show me your wares. Alright, so from here I can go in and I can sell some of these things. Now these are higher tier. These are iron tools. So the way it's going to work is I'm going to sell these sticks. I'm going to sell the 19 sticks, 1 coin a piece, 19 coins. When you're getting started, every little bit helps. And so just by gathering the sticks, you're going to build up a good money income. Now once you've gotten a little further from there and you've built a work shed, then you can start building wooden tools. Then you can eventually get to iron tools. I mean, this tool right here is going to sell for 120. And so iron hammer, 54. I mean, these are used too, so their price is down because I've already put some wear and tear on them. But here's a simple backpack made by my villagers, not by me, 160. I find that I can just make tons of money on just making things. Right now I just make iron axes, and those iron axes are selling for 100 a piece, I believe, right now, and that's not even maxed out in the seller skill line. So I could go to my wife in the village and redo my skills and get an even better pricing for what I sell. So with the money side of it, I say when you're getting started, just gather up sticks, then start making wooden tools and stone tools when you can. Move up to iron tools and sell those. You'll make tons of money. Food is another great way. If you are getting a bunch of meat and you're growing some vegetables in your farm, and I'll show you what my vegetable setup is right now. And we'll come back to this later too, but we're just going to go here. In my first field, I have 160, and it is all flax. Flax can be used to turn into linen and linen thread, and it sells huge. I'm also growing 160 flax here, but here I have every other vegetable. You're going to see some of these aren't growing because it's not the season for them. But I have cabbage growing, carrots, onions, beets, this is rye, and I have oat. So I'm growing every single thing. And then this other field, I believe, let's see, yeah, it's all wheat. So wheat, flax, and then this other field just to grow all this stuff. Alright, now tip number 2 is location. Now, I watched a few videos too when I was getting started, trying to figure out where I wanted to put my settlement at. I mean, there's several options, but I just want to go over where I put mine. So we can already see mine off in the distance here. But let's pull up the map. Now on the map, I can see here's my settlement. I have my excavation shed over here. That's what gets me stone, limestone, clay. Further up here is my mine, because right up here is a mine where you can get the iron at. And with this mine being manned by villagers, I'm able to gather up iron without having to even go up there. So at first I was sort of worried about where I positioned my location, if I was going to be able to get to these resources, and it seems to work fine. I get clay constantly, I get iron constantly, so they're just on automatic. And we'll get to that when I get to the fourth tip, but for now, when it comes to location, what I want to stress is money. So going back to the first tip, if I want to really get the biggest bang for my buck and being able to sell things, vendors, every time the season changes, they restock their money supply. The problem with that is that they only get a certain amount. It's anywhere between like 800 to 1400 coins. That's not a big deal when you first get started, but once you get to where I'm at, I can clean out vendors in an entire town. So this town right here, I can clean them out with just making a whole handful of iron axes. I like this location because, one, I was able to build big. I'm right by the water. I'm right by clay and a mine. I could have built up by this mine too, but I just haven't been up in this area enough to find a big spot that I could build a giant village like I have. Here seems to be pretty efficient. I already had an existing road to build on, right next to here and here. So if I clean these vendors out, I'm easily looking at 5,000 to 6,000 coin every single season. I mean, and that's good enough as is, but if I need, I can just shoot right up here, and I have 2 more. There's some beautiful spots, like down here by this lake. It's really nice to build, but if you look at it, you got to go over a mountain to get to here. You got to walk all the way over here I mean, there's a lot of space to cover to get to those places. And down here, don't get me started. If you build somewhere around here, you're going to be looking at these 2 and a long way to get to these guys. So with that, we are going to move on to my next tip. Trees. So you're going to see over here we've got a lot of trees, and I'm going to just sort of walk along this area because I do want to demonstrate. Here's my woodshed. I have 2 people working on it. Both of them are lumberjacks, and they are gathering, and we're going to go more into this. They're gathering logs and sticks. So I have my lumberjacks working, but what you're going to notice is you're going to see trees pretty much all over the place until we get near my village. When we get near the village, all of a sudden, giant area with no trees. But here's a tree stump. Now it says shovel required. If I use a shovel on this tree stump and dig it up, I get an extra log, which is great. The problem is it does not grow back. So I learned that. I almost restarted this playthrough just because I was peeling up so many of those tree stumps. I would highly recommend that if you're going to chop down trees, chop them down. It's great. It's great experience. You're going to level up your crafting really quick by just going to town, cutting down trees. But leave tree stumps by your village because they will replenish after a certain amount of seasons. I don't know what it exactly is. But yeah, you're going to allow yourself quicker access to lumber. You're going to get like 3 or 4 logs for each tree you cut down. And now, because I cut all those down, in order to get trees, if I want to go cut them down, I got to go running out here and grab them. Number 4, settlers and managing it. So here we got this little guy here. We got Sayapra. Boy, your guys' names are brutal. I can't interact with them or anything, but what I can do is I can go into the management area, and here are your 4 areas. You have your people, you have your buildings, you have your fields, and you have your animals. But under the people, this is how I'm going to manage what they do. So this is the character that I believe is my wife. That's how much I care. She's the innkeeper, and the innkeeper can make food. I don't think they've fully got it flushed out on innkeeper, but at least I do see sometimes some cooked food coming in there. Hunter, obviously, going to hunt animals, going to get leather, fur, and meat. And we'll go into a little bit more of that here when we go over to the buildings. Lumberjack, animal breeder. Another thing I want to point out is that it tells me on the map where the person I'm looking at is. So if you're ever really not able to find the person you're looking for, just click on that and it'll show you on the mini map. But all of these people have jobs. So you go into here, let's say I wanted to change this lady here from a gatherer to something else. I could select that person, and then it shows me the family. This is who's all in that family. The house that they live in has 4 out of 4 people, and they are assigned to the hunting lodge as a gatherer. The hunting lodge will get up to 4 people. the hunting lodge 2 anyway. So I could put 2 more people in here. But if I wanted to reassign this person to a different building, I could do this. I could assign this person to food storage, or the workshop, which they would become a craftsman, or the fishing hut where they would get fish. Now, I want a workshop worker and a fishing hut worker. And if I scroll down through here, resource storage, I haven't seen any reason for that yet. I don't know what that's for. I searched around, I've assigned people to it, and I just haven't seen anything for it yet, but I'm sure it's something that'll come later. The stable. This just came out. I literally just built this in the last week. Just learned how to make saddles and stuff, but I have no idea where to get a horse. I could turn on the beta stuff, but I'm not going to do that. I sort of want to play the game in its stable form and make my videos based on it. But I'll probably do another video later after some of these things have been worked out. Heard any gossip lately? I lost 5 approval points. When you're trying to get your first villagers, try to talk to them. You know, I wouldn't have chosen, have you heard any gossip lately, to someone I was trying to recruit. Hey, do you have a minute? Nice weather. Well, it's spring. Don't talk about yourself. Don't talk about how awesome you are, especially when you're trying to get a wife and sort of get your affection up. To get the affection up, you have to make sure that they like you more. So nice weather. I just got 10 approval points. They all start with 50. So if I said that, now that person's approval would be 60. And hey, do you have a minute? Noble passing. This was a tough one. Sometimes this is good, sometimes it's bad. In this case, it was bad. I lost 2. But the villagers, once you get them to 70%, they will come to your village to work. Until you hit the point where I'm at, then I can't get any more villagers until I get to that reputation. So here for the quest, you're going to see that I have to deliver to blah, 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 a recurve bow. One, I love hunting with the recurve bow. We'll get to that when we get to the 7th item. But this person needs the recurve bow. But also, let's look at food storage real quick too, just to show you. So I have 14 berries. They're only at 12%, 62% on these berries. They're going to go here soon, but I've got them in there. Here's my recurve bow. I also have a crossbow, water skin. I did have wooden and iron bolts in here for a while, but I used those up in another quest. What I would recommend doing is, once you finish this, one of the things to put on your list of to-dos is, as soon as you got some, like an open window of time, go in and... Oh, so here's your new bow. Thank you so much. Quite good, yes. I just got 15 Dynasty reputation. Now I can make a wooden hammer and take it to this other person. And the wooden hammer, all I need is a log. Grab a log, craft a wooden hammer, turn that in, and get this quest done. The important thing I want to mention is, after a while, you're going to learn that the quests are pretty similar. They all request the same things. They're going to want resources to rebuild something after a disaster, or they're going to want food for a meal, and you'll start learning what those basic requirements are. You will probably fail a couple of quests because, you know, if you're not gathering berries and you don't have a gatherer out of your hunting lodge putting the berries in there, what you're going to find is that you don't have the berries, and you're going to get requested during the winter to deliver food, and it'll be like 4 berries or 10 berries and 4 meat, and you won't have it. Same thing here. I have to deliver wool. I can get that, and I'll show that too. We'll get to that on the 9th tip. But in the meantime, so another thing we'll get at later, but here are some things that my people have already made, so I'm just going to put those in my inventory to sell. But I think I said I needed 10 wool, so I'm going to go grab 10 wool. Or 4 wool. Oh, oops. Anyway, I'm going to take this wool to this person and get this quest done. And that's essentially the main tip for quests. Like how do you be more successful with quests is keeping the resources that you get familiar with available all the time. So I have no more quests now. I can follow that icon on my HUD up here where it shows me the season, that little icon there. That tells me there's an available quest over this way. Oh, and just to the left of the quest icon, you're going to see that little person. Those are people I can recruit to my village. And now you have to have, when you're first starting off, you have to have that affinity or whatever. I'm trying to get the wording right here. Approval. So the approval starts at 50. If I say I'm creating a new settlement, looking for good people to join me, when I'm getting started, if that approval is at 70, they're going to join your village and you have a new person. Hey, do you have a moment? I don't like either one of these options, but I'm just going to choose this one. I got 10 approval. Now I'm 60. Hey, do you have a minute? The great thing is that if you get the option again, you can choose it again. How have you been? I got 5. Hey, do you have a minute? If I get a -1, I won't be able to talk anymore. So I have a 75 approval, but if I say, come to my village, I need to get my reputation up. Reputation required 18,000 now. But if I go to this icon, I can go to the person. Can I help you with something? Really hungry. Could you bring me some ingredients for a nice food? Sure, I can do that. She just wants 12 fish meat. Now the fish meat, I don't have anyone working in my fishing hut. Mainly because of mothers. And that's the last tip I'm going to give you about the settlers and managing them, is when they become mothers. When they become mothers, they stop doing their job. So Roberta, she's going to be available to work as soon as she's not a mother anymore. I don't know how many seasons that is off the top of my head, but I've just been sort of waiting for them to become available again. So do I really need to get any more villagers? Not really. Because I need 1, 2, 3, if I wanted to fill them all up, 4, 5, 6. And I could have workers at every one of these. And since I know the stable isn't developed, so I don't think that's going to do anything yet, there's no point in putting them in the resource storage. And then you have the kids. If we look at the kids, the kid that is my son right now is the oldest, I believe. Yeah, so this Eric is 9, but I can't assign him a workplace because he's too young. But here in a couple of years after I've gone further in the game, I'm going to have adults that were the kids. And I'm not sure when the people die of old age either. I've got to think about that too. There's just something I don't really know yet. And that's going to wrap this up. We're going to go to the food shed real quick, just so I can show you how this tip I'm giving you now pays off. So this right here is my food storage. We're going to go in here, we're going to look, and I have 1 fish meat. So here's the problem. With only 1 fish meat, nobody working in the fishing lodge, if I get to the end of this season and I haven't delivered that 12 fish meat, I fail this quest and I will lose reputation. That is the danger. So in that case, I'm going to want to manage my villagers, and I want to try to find someone that I can afford to make them get us some fish. I don't want to use any of the animal breeders because they're assigned to these farms. Apparently when these are born, this wasn't the case until the update. I have to assign these animals now. So let's check these real quick, make sure none of our animals are homeless. I think it might. I haven't seen any of these end up homeless yet. Oh, another thing about male and female, if you look at the icon, you can see purple and blue. That's male and female. So when you buy them, buy a male and female. They were not breeding up until the update. Then all of a sudden I started having tons of little babies. Okay, so none of them are homeless. I already reviewed the fields. Let's look at who we have working here. Who is expendable? Take that guy, put him working on my fishing hut. So now that he's a fisherman, this guy is going to gather me that fish, and he should probably do it before the end of the season, meaning I won't lose this, won't lose reputation on this quest. The next tip, number 6, is food. This one's going to be pretty quick. Just to say, your food storage here, this is food storage 3. So this is the top food storage unit you can build. And here's all my food. I can cook meat, use it to turn it into roasted meat, which you'll see I don't have any in here, which might be making my... I have roasted fish meat, tavern. I can unlock different things. Porridge, oat grain, 5. Gruel, rye, I need 5. Potage. The potage is what I seem to make bank on, because I was planting a bunch of cabbage when I started, and I was getting so much meat from my hunters that by cooking this, I was making a lot of money. The problem with that is now is that this shies in comparison to just making iron tools and selling them. But I was emptying out vendors just by cooking this stuff, but I was standing in front of a cooking stove. I think at one time I was cooking like 70 at a time, and making 70 of these, it took like 5 minutes. It was just ridiculously long. And we'll just include water at the same time. While this is pretty self-explanatory, I probably don't have to cover it. I will. And just walk over to the water and I can drink. Any water source, even a little tiny stream, you can just explore on your own. Find something you like to make, or maybe you're gardening one specific thing more than anything else. But again, going back to what I said before, I would recommend doing a lot of flax. Food is a good way to make a good chunk of money, especially when you're getting started, but not for these things. Only 30, but I get 10 health and 45 food. So it's got a big bang for its buck, but I don't know how long these last, and I'm just so busy managing all my other stuff I haven't gotten to it. Okay, now we are running on to number 7, which is weaponry and hunting. Now, I have a lot of logs stored already, so I'm just going to go to my resource storage to grab the logs, but you can just chop down trees, get some logs, and make wooden spears. But what I want to show is the difference between using spears versus using bow and arrow. Now, I wasn't using the bow for the longest time. So here we go, let's grab, we'll grab what we can carry with logs. And we're going to turn all these into spears. Okay, so that's good. Crafting, wooden spear. Let's make all 20. There we go. Now I always assign my weaponry to number 3. So let's find our wooden spears. Throw them on 3, and let's find the animals. Okay, so we have a selection of animals here. Deer just run by. This is a skill I would recommend unlocking for sure. If I look, so that is showing up red because they're aggressive. The deer in the background is green, not aggressive. The wooden spear is obviously what you're going to need to start with, but once you can make a bow, I highly recommend it. So I'm going to demonstrate the difference with hunting using the spear versus hunting with something like the bow. You always want to try to get a headshot. So, boom. Alright, he's mad. 2 spears. 3 spears. 4 spears. 5 spears. 6. 7. 8. Oh, that one didn't hit him in the head. 9. There. Okay. So a face full of spears. Took 9 spears to take this thing down. That's quite a bit. Oh, we got a food alert. So it's a good thing we're hunting because I can take this meat back and give it to my villagers. Now I want to show the difference now. The wooden spears. Alright, so these 10 are weight of 15. So there's 28, 29, 30. So 30 of my weight is strictly in just these spears. Whereas the bow is 1.25 and this stack of iron arrows 0.14. It's way better. And let's use the recurve bow here. And let's see the difference in killing this guy over here. 1, 2, 3, and down. So I think that demonstrates the bow is absolutely superior. I'm using the recurve bow, but just the regular bow, I was having about the same effect. Maybe like one more shot to kill them. But still, if you get a headshot on these animals, it takes them down in one shot. Especially with deer, that's a really good thing to do, because they're going to take off running once you hit them. So one shot, deer's down, and I've got it. So that's my tip on hunting. And the next we're going to get to is season and repairs, number 8. Oh, the last thing I wanted to cover, actually, I had talked about it too, is this inspector mode. Yeah, I can see all the plants that I can harvest around here, mushrooms, but that is unlocked in the skills area. If I go to hunting, I can go to tracker, track animals in inspector mode. I highly recommend this, especially when you're looking at trying to hunt like rabbits and stuff. It's a pain in the butt to find them, but with this, they stick right out and you can find them. Same thing with survival sense under the survival skill line is going to let you see the mushrooms, feathers, and herbs in inspector mode. This video has been running on a little bit long, so I think I'm going to try to rapid fire the remaining tips. But pretty easy to say. The seasons and repairs, I think I might have already touched on this a little bit, but in the top middle there you're going to see the green tree. That is telling me that it is spring. And after that we're going to go into the summer season, and after that into fall, and then into winter. The winter season is one that you're going to use a lot of wood. Now, you can make firewood, you can have your people make firewood. What I found, though, is that if I just have a bunch of logs in there, my people are happy and I don't have to worry about it. So I just keep a lot of logs in research storage, and that seems to do the trick. The repairs, that's another thing. I'm not gonna wait for the season to change and then show all that. I'll just tell you that the repairs, it's pretty straightforward. Once the season ends, you're going to have to do repairs on your buildings, and you just get the hammer, and if you choose the options here, I can choose to repair buildings. Now all these are green, but if you see something red that needs to be repaired, I would always recommend when you're about to end the season to have an inventory with, maybe like 40 sticks, some straw for the roofs. When you get to the bigger buildings here, you might want to have a couple of logs on you, and wooden planks if the ceiling needs work. But yeah, that's about it for repairs. I'm going to go into the tavern here, and I'm going to cook up this food so my villagers don't get cross with me here. And that will move us on to tip 9, animals and vendors. So while I'm walking to the animal vendor here, I want to just say that there's a great resource. The one that I use is neoseeker.com Medieval Dynasty Vendor Guide. And I will put the link right up on the screen right now. And this URL, it's going to tell you each of the villages and what those villages have for animals. So right now I'm in Gostovia, and I'm at the cow guy, the cow dealer. So first I'm going to sell a couple of things, and I'll also mention this too while I'm selling this stuff here. The seasons will dictate pricing sometimes, I believe. So if I'm selling the fur clothing in the spring, it's not going to return as much as if I sold it later on during the winter. So just something to keep in mind. So if I wanted to get some cows, first I would need to have the cow shed in order to store them. But I can walk up to an animal, there's a female cow, 4750, female, male. So all the adults, they're 4750, but if I look at the calf, I can get a calf for 2850. So what I recommend is, just have the patience, get a couple of calves, a male and a female, and let them breed out. They weren't breeding until the last update, so I wasn't really sure if that was the greatest idea, and I think these have got me stuck in here, so I might have to use the unstuck option. The unstuck option is going to take you back to your spawn, where you started the game at. which is a great way to fast travel. And that moves us on to buildings. This is pretty simple, quick, and easy. The building system, I've already covered it in a lot of detail here. From the buildings area, I can look down here. I can tell, where I don't have workers at. I can tell where the buildings are on the mini map. The excavation shed is highlighted here. But the thing I wanted to point out about the buildings too, and this is something that if you don't know, it could delay a lot of progress in the game. And if I choose the excavation shed, for instance, and I select it, it tells me who's working on it, but I have these options right up here. And this option is the assignments option. This breaks down what this building will gather and how much I'm gathering of each thing. So rock 15%, salt 15, clay 35. This is a great utility. I'm actually going to lower the clay collection because I have everything upgraded. I don't need any more, and limestone sells pretty good. So now I've got it reallocated. If I go here, the production, it's giving me the timeline on when these things are getting done. And that's about all for buildings that I want to cover. I know this video has been a little bit long, but it's all the things that I really struggled with. I really had a tough time figuring out how to make money quick and get going in this game. I was going to do a video series on it, Let's Play, but then when I realized it's a very slow burn game, especially with the crafting, I wanted to just do this tips and tricks video. Hopefully it helped you out. Hopefully this gets you a good start on it. I think I'm going to try to get a couple more videos out before our calendar rolls to 2021. But this has been my first year doing YouTube series, my first year making videos on games. It all started with Ark and then progressed and went to several other things. I'm going to be doing a video tomorrow, just sort of a recap video of me on camera. Y'all have a safe and happy new year. If you haven't already, please like the video. And if you like the content, I would say subscribe. I'm releasing content all the time. I don't have a regular schedule right now because it's just me. And I'm making videos now. My son has joined the team. And it's a lot of work to do the editing. So I will try to get more on top of that, especially as more subscribers come in. I will certainly be pushing myself a little bit harder to keep the content coming out on a regular scheduled basis. But thank you for watching. You all have a great day, and we will see you on the next video.